The deep intimacy of breast sensitivity, why touch goes beyond the physical. Breasts have long been seen as symbols of femininity, sensuality, and nurturing. They appear prominently in art, culture, religion, and even politics. But beyond what they represent visually or culturally, breasts are powerfully emotional and deeply intimate parts of the body. Their sensitivity is not a mere quirk of biology. It's part of a profound system of connection that merges the physical and emotional, the sensual and the symbolic. When touched with care, breasts can stir arousal. But that's just one layer. Beneath the surface, something more powerful happens. The emotional resonance of breast touch is often overlooked, yet it plays a vital role in how we experience closeness, vulnerability, and trust. It's not just about pleasure, it's about bonding. Here are 5 deeply rooted reasons why the sensitivity of breasts often leads not only to physical arousal, but to emotional depth and intimacy. 1. Rich in nerve endings, the biological foundation of sensitivity. To understand why breast touch can feel so intense, we need to start with basic anatomy. Breasts, particularly the nipples and areola, are densely packed with nerve endings. Some research suggests that the nipples have nearly as many sensory neurons per square inch as the clitoris or penis. They are directly wired into the brain's pleasure and reward centers through the same neurological pathways. The primary nerve involved is the 4th intercostal nerve, which runs from the spine and branches into the chest and breast tissue. This nerve transmits signals to the somatosensory cortex, the part of the brain responsible for interpreting touch. When a breast is touched, the brain doesn't just register pressure or temperature. It responds with emotion, desire, and meaning. This rich nerve network is why even the lightest caress across the chest can cause a cascade of physical responses: goosebumps, chills, increased heart rate, and heightened awareness. These reactions aren't just physiological, they are affective, meaning they carry emotional coloring. The body feels, and the heart interprets. For many people, this area of the body is also where physical intimacy begins. It's a kind of threshold, more intimate than holding hands or hugging, but not yet explicitly sexual in many contexts. That in-between quality makes it uniquely charged, tender and arousing, comforting and thrilling. 2. Wired for bonding, nature's design for connection. Breasts are not just biologically designed for pleasure, they are designed for connection. This evolutionary function has its roots in the most fundamental human experience, mother and infant bonding. From the moment a newborn is placed on their mother's chest, the breast becomes the first site of nourishment, warmth, and security. Suckling triggers the release of oxytocin, the so-called love hormone, which helps the infant feel safe and helps the mother feel connected. Oxytocin doesn't go away after infancy. It remains active throughout our lives, especially in situations involving physical closeness. When someone touches the breast in a gentle, consensual, and loving way, it can release oxytocin in the adult brain as well. This chemical release fosters feelings of trust, emotional safety, and attachment. That's why breast touch often leads not only to arousal, but to deep emotional openness. It's more than stimulation. It's a reawakening of the primal, hardwired need for comfort and closeness. Even in a sexual context, this kind of touch speaks a language far older and more tender than eroticism alone. It's the body saying, "I trust you," and asking in return, "Can I be safe with you here?" When partners understand this, when they approach the breast not just as a sexual object, but as a center of emotional gravity, the experience becomes more than physical. It becomes relational. It creates a kind of psychological synchrony where both people are attuned to each other's emotional states. 3. Emotional resonance, touch as a doorway to vulnerability. Unlike other erogenous zones, the breasts have a uniquely emotional quality. For many women and people with breasts, this area is deeply tied to self-image, identity, and vulnerability. It's not uncommon for someone to feel exposed, even fragile, when their breasts are touched. And yet, when the touch is gentle, affirming, and consensual, it can unlock a kind of emotional depth that is rarely accessed in other ways. Why? Because breasts are more than body parts. They're symbols of intimacy. They're often hidden in public, covered not only by clothing, but by layers of cultural expectation. So when someone is allowed to touch them, especially in a context of trust, it signifies something meaningful. It says, "You are allowed into a sacred space." This can stir powerful emotional reactions. Some people cry when their breasts are touched, not because of pain or sadness, but because they feel seen, held, and emotionally safe in a way they may not have before. It's not uncommon for old emotional wounds to surface during breast touch, moments of rejection, shame, trauma, or fear, and be soothed, even healed, by a partner's loving attention. In this way, breast touch becomes therapeutic. It's not just sexual, it's soulful. It allows someone to be open, to let their guard down, to invite closeness where there was once caution. That vulnerability is the seed of emotional intimacy. It creates space for two people to not just connect, but to merge, even briefly, in shared presence and care. For cultural symbolism, the emotional weight of what breasts represent. The emotional impact of breast sensitivity is shaped not only by biology, but by culture. Across many societies, ancient and modern, breasts have been imbued with powerful symbolism. They are often seen as icons of fertility, motherhood, beauty, and femininity. In religious art, the nurturing breast is sometimes portrayed as divine. In media and fashion, the sexualized breast is idealized and commodified. Because of this cultural weight, breasts can carry deep, sometimes conflicting emotions. For some people, they are a source of pride and empowerment. For others, they can be tied to shame, insecurity, or objectification. These associations shape how breast touch is experienced, not just physically, but emotionally. When someone touches your breast in a way that feels honoring, it can counteract years of negative cultural messaging. It can make you feel cherished instead of judged, respected instead of reduced to a body part. That shift can be incredibly emotional. It allows people to reclaim this part of their body, not just as a sexual asset, but as a source of connection, comfort, and self-love. Conversely, when breasts are touched without consent or tenderness, it can feel like a deep violation, not just of the body, but of personhood. This is because breasts are symbolic. They represent care, safety, and nourishment. When those symbols are misused, the emotional impact can be profound. That's why the emotional experience of breast touch is so dependent on context. The same touch that feels thrilling in one moment can feel threatening in another. It's not just what is done, but how and why that determines its emotional meaning. 5. Felt meaning. Pleasure as a gateway to emotional bonding. There's a kind of pleasure that's purely physical, like the sharp jolt of eating something sweet or the rush of adrenaline during exercise. But then there's another kind of pleasure, the kind that is laced with meaning. Breast touch often falls into the second category. When done with care and attunement, the physical pleasure of breast touch becomes a vehicle for something deeper, emotional bonding. This is where sexual touch transforms into a kind of wordless dialogue. Each brush, kiss, or caress becomes a message. I'm here with you. I see you. I value you. This felt meaning is what makes breast sensitivity so emotionally powerful. The pleasure isn't just in the nerves, it's in the knowing. Knowing that you're desired not just for your body, but for your presence. Knowing that your partner is taking time to cherish you, not just stimulate you. Knowing that your pleasure matters, not just as a means to an end, but as an end in itself. This is the difference between being touched and being held. This kind of connection doesn't happen in every encounter, but when it does, it's unforgettable. It's the moment where arousal and emotion merge, where sex becomes a form of care, and where the body becomes a gateway to the heart. A sacred invitation. Breast sensitivity taps into something primal and sacred. It's a reminder that the body is not just a vessel of sensation, but a landscape of meaning. Touching the breast is never just about touch, it's about what that touch says. It's about the story it tells, the emotion it evokes, and the trust it requires. At its best, breast touch is a dance of permission, presence, and tenderness. It offers not just pleasure, but healing. Not just arousal, but connection. Not just physicality, but soul. So when we touch the breast or allow ours to be touched, let it be more than a moment of desire. Let it be an invitation to trust, to feel, to be fully known.